Hey guys, so glad to have you here today. My name is College Sports Revived, and welcome to the conclusion of the UT Martin era of the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series featuring, of course, Coach Carter. Today's going to be a bit of a boring episode, I can't lie to you. I'm just tying up some loose ends before we reveal the three bigger name teams that have offered Coach Carter a job, where we will continue this series into the second era. And those three schools will be the ones I'll have you guys voting on. We'll have a big breakdown of those three teams, their history, their roster, their conferences, etc., etc. And that'll all be coming in the episode I'll be posting tomorrow. Today, however, we'll be recapping the trophies that Coach Carter has accumulated in the UT Martin section of his career. And we'll also be looking at the rest of the March Madness tournament bracket of Season 6 after we were eliminated in the Sweet 16. And we'll be sitting courtside for the national championship game, always a great time when we do that. And finally, viewing all the college basketball awards for the sixth season of this legacy mode, both for the nation and for our conference. As always, check my pinned comment down below for timestamps if you want to skip ahead to a certain part. And let's do this. So beginning with Coach Carter's extensive trophy room. That's what we begin today, and this also gives us a segue to recap this series a bit as well up to this point, as you receive a plaque in this game for each season of Legacy you complete. And since we haven't technically finished Season 6 by the game standards, we don't have one for the season we just completed yet, but no biggie, you guys already know how that ended, so we'll begin with Season 1. So year 1 was a fresh beginning. 6'9" forward Shaquille Hammond, our only senior on the roster, led the team. And he also led the Ohio Valley Conference in scoring, something that no other player in this series has repeated since. Outside of Shaq Hammond, however, it presented some question marks. Young guards Dwight Easley and Marcus Saunders started making a name for themselves. And year 1's record was 13 wins, 16 losses, a 9-win improvement from the team that Coach Carter inherited the season prior he stepped on campus. Entering Season 2 with a year of experience under our belt, we were actually left with more questions than answers moving forward. Hammond's graduation begged the question of who would lead the offense in Season 2. Well, we had David Giles step up, he averaged 14 points a game, and Marcus Saunders finally got the starting gig at the two-guard position, turned heads, dropped his 40-point performance in year 2, and overall is a very successful season, making it to, once again, the semi-final round of the Ohio Valley Conference Tournament. Year 3 presented another passing of the torch for the offense. The junior Marcus Saunders became our offensive centerpiece as Giles graduated, but we also saw the players that we recruited back in Season 1 make a notable impact for the first time. 7-foot sophomore Christopher Fay was all Ohio Valley first team as a sophomore, averaging 10 points and 7 boards. The junior college transfer Pierre Hamilton led the team in assists off the bench, most of those dimes going to Jacques Diggs, who started to show flashes of future greatness. This season ended in the first March Madness appearance in school history, falling short to Memphis in the round of 64. Season 4 was our final year with Easley and Saunders at the helm, as those two guys saved their best for last, with Saunders averaging near 20 points per game for a majority of the year before suffering a hand injury. However, he was cleared to play by the time postseason came around. And the emergence of Blaine Fry was a sight to behold. We never had a day one starter as a freshman in this series, but 6'10" forward Blaine Fry from Milwaukee, Wisconsin became the only player to start all 4 seasons at UT Martin within his career in this series, and we finally had an interior presence down low in the paint. However, it wasn't a storybook finish for Easley and Saunders, as we were upset by Morehead State in the second round of the conference playoffs and eventually fell to St. Joe's in the opening round of the NIT. Season 5 was a definite prelude to Season 6 and what it had for us in store. Jacques Diggs and Hamilton marinated on the bench for 2 seasons and became the backcourt, with Blaine Fry making the switch to center after Christopher Fay graduated, and Fry blossomed, leading the team in steals, blocks, and rebounds. He was the ultimate glue guy. Once again, we were shot down in the round of 64, this time against Kansas, but we knew that first tournament win was so close, and thanks to the transfer of Darnay Betancourt, Jacques Diggs dominating top competition, and Teron Gardner working his tail off to become a very valuable two-way power forward, UT Martin capped off the series with a Sweet 16 appearance in Year 6, the only Ohio Valley Conference team ever to do so in the history of March Madness. Alright, the year-by-year wrap-up is complete. Let's take a look at some of the individual awards that the players under Coach Carter have accumulated throughout this entire series. We've had 5 freshmen all-conference. We had Easley, Ballard, both in year 1, Luke Lawton in year 2, and then Jacques Diggs and Blaine Fry, they did it both in season 3. First team all Ohio Valley Conference, all conference. We have Chris Fay as a sophomore, Jacques Diggs as a junior, and most likely a senior as well. Once again, we don't have the year 6 data yet because the game thinks we haven't completed it technically yet. Marcus Saunders was also on that list, and we've had 3 guys with the best Ohio Valley 3-point percentage. Easley, Saunders, and Diggs, all 3 in consecutive years. And then Teron Gardner, he was always a very polished offensive player. I know he presented himself as a workhorse. He was a very hard worker, but he really started to develop his offensive traits and was a very valuable player in the last 2 seasons of this series. Ohio Valley Conference Freshman of the Year, we had Blaine Fry win that. He was a very key player, the only guy to start all 4 years of his college career within this series. And he was the interior presence we were dying for after those first 2 seasons. Ohio Valley Conference champion, of course, we have this one back in 2009 to 10 of season 3. We have one in season 5 I'm about to scroll over to right here. And of course, the season 6 trophy, not yet presented to Coach Carter, but it will be very soon. Obviously, I wish I had that season 6 data, but I'd have to sim ahead and all that jazz. I didn't really feel like doing that. And Coach Carter with 4, count them 4, Ohio Valley Conference Coach of the Year awards. You see 3 right here. He secured one for season 3, season 4, season 5, and eventually season 6, as he would win Coach of the Year to bookend his tenure at UT Martin with another fabulous season and more hardware to put in his trophy case. Hopefully we can accumulate some more going forward at whatever college that he decides to take his talents to next. That video is coming tomorrow. And before Coach Carter leaves once and for all, NCAA championships. These trophies and trophy cases are still vacant. One day, Coach Carter will have one in his shrine, but we still might be a ways away from an NCAA championship for him to put in his trophy case. But one day it will definitely happen as we move forward to the NCAA tournament recaps. So obviously we fell to the defending champions, Georgia Tech, by 8 points, held very tough the entire way through. They pulled away with about a minute to go. But hey, it was a very emotional episode and we fought hard to the very end. So let's see what's picking up in the Sweet 16 and see how the rest of the field turned out. So here in UT Martin's region, the South Regional, we know all about George Washington's rise to glory, taking care of business against Washington. And so the George Washington Colonials will try to become the second all-time team as a 10 seed to make the Final Four with an upset win over the defending champs. And yeah, they lose by 27 points. So Georgia Tech making back-to-back Final Fours as we take a look at the Midwest Regional to see who they will play. Maryland with the #1 offense in the country, stopping Cal State Northridge in their tracks by 30. So the 13 seed Northridge Matadors, they go home after an awesome run. Duke takes care of Boston College, but then falls by 13 to the Terps. So we will have Georgia Tech against Maryland on one side of the Final Four. Let's take a look at the other side, where the #1 overall seed heading into March was Illinois, and they're taking care of business, beating Dayton and Brigham Young by double digits, as the BYU Cougars held tough until the Fighting Illini, they pulled away at the end. And St. Louis, the A10's best team, they went 16-0 within the conference. The only team in the entire country to have a spotless conference record. They have a chance at the Final Four. Let's see if they can handle their business against the Illinois Fighting Illini, and they do. The Billikens shocked the #1 overall seed. And the Fighting Illini made it very hard for the Billikens in the second half, outscoring them by 12 and pulling within 1, but St. Louis, they pull away. And they stay afloat by a single point to pull off one of the all-time shockers. And North Carolina State having some trouble here in a shootout against Texas Tech in their Sweet 16 appearance, but they do pull it out by 2, 92-90 in a shootout. And so we scroll down here and we find that their opponent will be Oregon as they take care of business. The Oregon Ducks, the best 3-point shooting team in the entire country. So let's see, we got Oregon and their red-hot 3-point shooting against NC State and their defensive-minded approach, and the Wolfpack come out on top, 72-70, a very impressive mark to hold the #1 3-point shooting team in the country. They only muster 70 points, as NC State will become the third one seed to make the Final Four, and they continue to dance, knocking off St. Louis by 7, and Georgia Tech coasts over the Terps 92-72. So Georgia Tech has a chance to repeat. Will we fall to the eventual defending national champions as they look for a repeat? Well, we'll see what NC State can do, the third #1 seed voted by the committee. As we take a look at this matchup, the more we look between the lines, it actually becomes a very intriguing one, as you guys will see as we take a look at the numbers. So we all know the tale of Georgia Tech. This will be the third time we're watching them in March this season. Fun fact, UT Martin has actually been their closest margin of victory this entire tournament run for Tech. Pretty impressive for our Skyhawks. #2 in the country in terms of offense, one of the most disruptive teams as well with their full court press. They excel when it's a chaotic scrum type game, and their riches on the offensive end are a sight to behold. You know these guys pretty well at this point. The lefty Slade Channing, the do-it-all wing Kevin Pinson, Gilbert White and Xavier Grimes down low. But someone that won't be available this game is Daniel Ritter, the physical wing. He led Tech in scoring against the Skyhawks and was very key in their efforts to pull away at the end. He suffered a broken wrist in the Maryland game and will not play tonight. And taking his place instead will be sophomore Hanley Graves, who will start at center, and Xavier Grimes will move down to the 3 with Gilbert White sliding down to the 4. So Georgia Tech, perhaps in a move to hide their average rebounding skill, makes their lineup bigger with the absence of Ritter for the biggest game of their season. So it'll be an all-ACC national championship with NC State in the other locker room, a team that some people think shouldn't even be here, to be honest. The Wolfpack began this season at 11-7, not quite the resume you'd expect out of the first 18 games from a potential 1 seed. But as the old adage goes, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And the Wolfpack currently ride a streak of winning 15 out of the last 17 heading into the national championship, finishing 3rd in the final AP poll of the season. Knowing that this is an all-ACC title battle, it means that we have a good sample size of head-to-head matchups. Tech won the first meeting by 6, but then caught the Wolfpack again in the middle of their hot streak near the end of February, with NC State taking it home by 5 in the rematch. So a 1-1 record between the two teams. NC State is honestly the complete antithesis of Georgia Tech, which makes this matchup even more fun to watch, potentially. They have a lot of mature, composed players who take care of the rock. They share it well, as despite nearly averaging 10 points less as a team than the Yellow Jackets, they average similar assist numbers. Regular season record aside, if there's a team that can take down Tech before they repeat, NC State might be the club. However, I'd feel a lot more confident for the Wolfpack if it wasn't for this guy right here. Daniel Ritter isn't active for Georgia Tech, but the leading scorer, Bo Ash, will be doubtful to play for the Wolfpack side of things. He suffered a bone bruise in his knee during that shootout against Sweet 16 opponent Texas Tech, and even though he's dressing tonight, unfortunately it's unlikely we see the talented combo guard take the floor. But I mean, hey, look at the brighter side. That leaves plenty of room for a couple role players to make lemons out of lemonade tonight, right? That's what postseason ball is all about, so let's meet these guys. We'll start with 2-guard Dennis Ricks, who actually leads this team in rebounding at only 6'2". I love guards who can rebound. He'll have a lot more weight on his shoulders without Ash in the lineup. And then Evan Elder, who normally backs up Bo Ash, still plays 26 minutes a game, so at least the pack will have a guy with some experience stepping in at the point. But disregarding the guards for a second, I think it'll come down to these big guys tonight for NC State. First we have Texter Padilla, a 6'11 sophomore who's a blue-collar post with good court vision, and a guy starting at power forward with a name you might see in a Key and Peele sketch. We have Torrance Pettyjohn. And Pettyjohn is very energetic on both ends, so much more physically gifted than any of the Georgia Tech forwards. This NC State team as a whole has made their money grinding out wins, especially on defense. And I think the best way to beat Georgia Tech is to do just that. Out-hustle them, out-grind them, crash on the boards on both ends, get them into foul trouble, play smart, bang them inside, make them feel uncomfortable inside the post. That's their biggest weakness as a team. So we'll see if NC State has what it takes to stop a potential college basketball dynasty from taking place tonight with back-to-back national championships for the Yellow Jackets. And before you comment, I don't know why the game made me play this national championship at Albany's arena, so don't be texting in the comments, oh, CSR, why are you playing at Albany? Hey, all I hope is that it's just this season, and I hope it's an anomaly. I hope we get a neutral site and a big venue next season. I don't know why it's putting us here this year. right, here we go. Year 6 is National Championship, NC State, Georgia Tech. Ready for the tip-off. Here we go. Graves versus Pettyjohn at the timeline, and it will be the Yellow Jackets with the first rights to the orange tonight. And we get to take a look at the third-ranked offense nationally at 87 points a game. Third to only Maryland and Gonzaga. This one swings over to Kevin Pinson, who, you guys know me, I've talked a lot about Kevin Pinson in the 2 games we watched previous of Georgia Tech. He's a 6'6 sophomore, 11.5 points per game. He's attempted 137 threes on the year, making 38%, as this one's a jump hook now on the very next possession to Hanley Graves, the 6'9 sophomore who is filling in for Daniel Ritter. And Graves is the team leader of rebounds on this squad. Here we go with Slade Channing off the ball reversal, no good. But Gabriel Jordan checks in, and this one is left a little bit short down low. Leading the break is Evan Elders, who's hacked at the rim by Xavier Grimes. And as you can see at the scoreboard, already 3.5 minutes in, and we're only at 7 combined team points. I mean, there's been good defense on both sides. Had a quick start by Tech, but ever since then, the defense has been towing in. Here's Evan Elder, who is a 6'2 sophomore, filling in for the leading scorer, Bo Ash, who will most likely not be playing tonight. He knocks down 2 for 2, and here he is, flashing out off a screen. Nicely done there. Great ball reversal, great overall looking possession, as Elder has a quick 6 points to keep NC State afloat. Now a turnaround jumper. It looks like Gilbert White might have gotten a piece of that by Pettyjohn. This one is floated up to, I think, Gabriel Jordan. The backup forward was the intended receiver, but this one flares out of bounds, and it's another early turnover for both these teams. Only 20 combined team points. 8:35 left to go. Look at the backdoor feed. Evan Elder continues to be the best player out on the floor, beating, that is Gilbert White backdoor. That is Peter Kundul, the 6'7 sophomore off the bench, who records that bucket. You see the body language for NC State. They're starting to believe a little bit. You could see it as there is a block by the team's leading rejection man. There is Torrance Pettyjohn with the rejection. 12-10 game. NC State looking for the first tie since it was 0-0, as Evan Elder spots up for the 3, and he doesn't want a tie. He wants a lead. Elder with 9 points. The sophomore filling the shoes of Bo Ash. NC State, they're still within 1. They've been doing a good job protecting the rock up until this play right here. Xavier Grimes with a steal on the post, and it will be Lynn Shavino, the best statistical 3-point shooter for the Yellow Jackets, topping off the break. This right here, this is what you have to avoid when you play this team. They are just so good in the open court, and we haven't seen much of it today up until this point. NC State doing a good job protecting the ball. That's their first team turnover of the contest. And now we're under 5 minutes to play, down by 3. And looking for the tie is Bishop Francis. What a take there. Drawing the blocking foul on Kevin Pinson, who continues to be quiet today. Love the head and shoulders fake from Bishop Francis. He is a senior who is very calm, cool, and collected off the bench. A great guy to have. He plays 12 minutes a game and still puts up 6.5 points a night. He might be the best slasher that the Wolfpack have on their roster, so he should definitely be seeing a lot of PT tonight with no Bo Ricks in the lineup. Back up, knotted up at 20 apiece with 4:20 left to go. The very next possession for the Yellow Jackets. Off a screen, Gilbert White. Extra pass to Slade Channing. He's also been a little bit quiet, but there is a jumper with a foot on the line to get him on the scoring column. It's about time that the leading scorer on the season for the Yellow Jackets makes his mark into the stat sheet as they go high to low. Nicely done there. That is the third first half assist for 6'11 sophomore Dexter Badia, who averages 1 assist on the year, but he does make great passes. He's got great court vision, and continuing to garner assists is this Wolfpack team. Dennis Ricks on the receiving end of another beautiful dime by Evan Elder. He's the team leader, even though he's been playing off the bench for most of the year. 4.5 assists for Elder, the 6'2 sophomore from Philadelphia. So that cuts the lead back down to 2. It's been a very exciting national championship game. Even though this place only sits 5,000 people, they have this place rocking as Lynn Shavino spots up. And he's actually been the leading scorer for Georgia Tech. Coming off the bench, Shavino is a 6'3 senior who shoots 38% from downtown. He's a great guy to have off the bench, a veteran who knows how to pick his spots from deep. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Looking for the pop-out screen. Here is Elder trying to find a teammate. It's Bishop Francis, skip pass over to Dennis Ricks for 3. Up to 9 points, NC State back out in front. They're playing up. Gotta love it when you see a team play up, but they're starting to play this 2-3 zone for some reason, and you can't allow a guy to do that against the zone defense. Basically slicing and dicing the entirety of the zone, and then the second team turnover recorded. Shavino's feeling confident, looking for 2 in a row. No dice there. Long outlet pass to Dennis Ricks, who puts the entire team on skates with the pass back out to Torrance Pettyjohn. The spin move gets Gilbert White touching the floor, and then a beautiful no-look dime to Torrance Pettyjohn, who can hit those 17-foot jump shots. What a first half we're seeing. We'd actually head into the intermission tied at 34 apiece. NC State, you gotta love it when a team shows up to play, and that's what they're doing tonight. Without their top scorer, they are not phased. They are not playing scared as they continue to share the ball at a sky-high level, and that would continue here. Dennis Ricks, ball rotation to Donnell Harrington, who now records his first basket. Heading into halftime, NC State had 13 team field goals, and 11 of them were assisted on. So that really goes to show how much they're playing together and the level of the offensive efficiency that this team is operating at right now. Man, that's just a crazy number. It's great to see a team playing together against one of the most disruptive defenses in the entire country, but then with no hesitation, Slade Channing, bit of a slow start, but now he's up to 11 points. That leads all scorers right now. So now 40 apiece as Dennis Ricks with a tough take there. Good job swarming inside by the blue and gold. So Kevin Pinson, who by the way was shooting 1 for 4 at the half, makes a nice assist inside. There's Pettyjohn on the receiving end of a Hanley Graves poster. Pinson with 3 assists to this point, but he's been kind of a non-factor shooting the rock, which is pretty crazy to see. In every game we've tagged into, Pinson has made a huge impact, whether scoring, assisting. Well, tonight it's more of assisting, as that is now his 3rd assist, and the Georgia Tech bench is loving it. Pettyjohn with the back-to-the-basket game will kick it out. Dennis Ricks looking for a teammate. It's Bishop Francis who checks back in, and again the potent slasher will deliver on the interior. And how about you tally this one as another team assist? This one goes to Dennis Ricks and Bishop Francis. Man, he continues to put pressure on the defense with his speed. So back up to a 3-point game. However, with 8:10 left to go in the national championship, we see Dennis Padilla making another beautiful find. Nicely done. That is Jamal Crandall, who is a reserve guard on this team. And they're bringing another trap to Padilla on this play. That's his 5th assist, leading both sides in that category. The 6'11 sophomore, I talked about it pregame, good court vision. He's taking it to an upper echelon here. He's a big reason why NC State's found a lot of success on the perimeter. Now we see Mitch Fellers checking in. There is a 15-foot jump shot for a point guard. Who would start on a majority of college teams? Mitch Fellers, a 6'1 sophomore, 8 points, and he actually leads his team with 5.5 assists off the bench. 53-50, Georgia Tech keeping pace right now. They're keeping the Wolfpack at arm's length with about 6 minutes to go. This one works around. It'll be a 3-pointer for Lyndon Shafino. 18 off the bench for the 6'3 senior. That is now 4 made tray balls on the game for him today. I think the 2-3 zone was a mistake to switch into for the Wolfpack. They almost turned it over here. It's now a 7-point game, the largest lead for Georgia Tech in the second half, and now it's a turnover. Mitch Fellers will then find Kevin Pinson with the little touch pass. Only his 2nd field goal, but Pinson keeps his head in it. He's not deterred by his poor shooting today. He stays with it, and he will cap off one of the nicest breaks you'll see all tournament long. Now the lead is 9. Now time becoming a factor for NC State. They're on the tail end of a bad run right here with 4 minutes to go, and they're still in this 2-3 zone. This is Hanley Graves with a kiss off the glass. Pinson with his 5th assist, and it looks like Georgia Tech is starting to finally pull away. 3:20 left to go, breaking the press. They haven't had a lot of trouble in, behind the timeline. Most of NC State's turnovers have been past half court, as we see Torrance Pettyjohn. Maybe he should have done more of this. Great job attacking. Great IQ play there. He missed the jumper, followed. There was 3 Georgia Tech players around him, and not one got a body on Pettyjohn. He's had a pretty solid game through and through. but you would have liked to see him throw his weight around a little bit more. Him and Dexter Badia have been playing a little bit soft today. Now we approach 3 minutes left to go in the title game. We need some stops here from NC State to stay afloat, but that will not happen as Slade Channing, he now hits his third three-pointer of the second half, his fourth on the game, and now we see NC State, the wheels starting to come off. Xavier Grimes for three. Who can't shoot on this Georgia Tech team? 13-point game, and it took one bad sequence for NC State to lose track of the lead, and eventually it would spiral out of control into a 15-point deficit, 80-65, and this would be your final score on the night. So Georgia Tech will repeat as college basketball's national champions. They did it as a 10 seed last year, the highest seed ever to do so. This year as the national favorites, they still get it done, 80-65. It was a very impressive showing. It was a great game for about 25 minutes, and then the last 5 saw Georgia Tech go on a 13-2 run, which really shut the door on the stingent Wolfpack attack. So Dennis Ricks with 15, Pettyjohn with 10. Evan Elder was the best player on the floor in the first half, but then he went quiet in the second half. And you see here the senior Slade Channing. He is your Final Four most outstanding player. 16 points on his final college game. Kevin Pinson becomes a senior next year. These guys won't go anywhere. Lyndon Shafino will probably become a starter next year. One of the most potent three-ball shooters in the country. And speaking of three-ball shooting, Georgia Tech finished with 14 made trays on the game. So now we're finally wrapping up the awards around college basketball. Georgia Tech, of course, becoming the repeat national champions. They have 4 seniors hanging it up, but I don't think they're going to be going anywhere. And Tariq Nyland is your National Basketball Player of the Year, and we beat his Georgetown Hoyas in the first round with a great game plan instilled by Coach Carter. So congrats Nyland on Player of the Year, but it feels great that we were able to take him down in the first round. Mid-major Player of the Year is Franklin Richard on Troy, who averaged 23 points a game. Coach of the Year goes to the Georgia Tech coach. Back-to-back national champions, the first 2 in the school's history. So, I mean, hey, can't argue with that selection. Terrell Chambers on Duke, Defensive Player of the Year, 1.7 blocks a game to go with his 20 points a night. The hometown kid from Greenville with a lot of hardware taken home. And Tariq Nyland, Big Man of the Year as well. Freshman of the Year goes to Lamont Hereford on the Duke Blue Devils, 11 points a game for the 6'3" freshman. And moving on, we see first-team All-American Bo Ash. Really sucks we couldn't see him play in the national championship. Things may have gone a little bit different if the 6'2" junior was able to suit up. Will Harper on Arkansas, 24 points a game, who is just shy from matching Tariq Nyland's output. Garrett Gomes on Xavier, Alan Dearman on Boston College, 22 points with 7 rebounds. And of course, Tariq Nyland continues to add to his trophy case, 24 points a night. Second-team All-American Sam Yost on Tennessee, Tavon Meadows on George Washington. A big reason why the Colonials were able to make the Elite 8. What a run from them. Jason Marks on Oklahoma State, 16 points a night. We have Terrell Chambers also cracking his way onto the All-American list. And Dedrick Underwood, a 6'10" senior from Florida, 20 points a game to end his college career. Freshman All-American, we have Lamont Hereford, and he's also met in the backcourt with Gerard Bell from Michigan State. We have Perry Booker from Florida State, 80 overall, 8 points a game. Peyton McKinnon from Arkansas, 7.3 points a game. And Menudu Nwankwo from Nevada, probably butchered that name, but 10 points a game for a very talented freshman on Nevada. So conference champions, of course, UT Martin. It's been an awesome 6-year run. We'll be finding out in the episode tomorrow where Coach Carter will be taking his talents. Got 3 teams for you guys to choose from. But for now, we're going to recap the Ohio Valley Awards. So here in Season 6, Conference Coach of the Year, I alluded it to the intro when we were discussing the awards. This is his 4th in 6 seasons. Ken Carter, more hardware for him moving forward as he hangs it up here at UT Martin. Cordell Crosby, Conference Player of the Year. They snubbed Jacques Diggs. How can you not give it to Diggs? Sure, he averaged less points, but he led his squad to the Sweet 16 with 35 points in the round of 32 game. But Coach Carter will continue to look at a new school to finally have a Conference Player of the Year coached. Can't believe they didn't give it to Jacques Diggs. That is highway robbery if you ask me. But I mean, hey, Cordell Crosby can have the Conference Player of the Year, but we beat those guys in the conference's championship game, so we have the one up in the end. Kaya Brodno, the Conference Freshman of the Year at Murray State. They got a lot of talented big fellas coming up. And as we move forward to see the other hardware in the conference, we then find out first team all conference, and we have Michael Parks Jr. on Southeast Missouri State, 10 points, 6 assists. Jacques Diggs does crack his way on to first team all conference, becoming only the third Skyhawk to do so. Brandon Lennox from Austin P, Oliver Simons, and Cordell Crosby. They round out first team all conference. Let's see if Blaine Fry can make second team all conference. He does not, unfortunately, but Darnay Betancourt with a very strong second half to his first season in the Ohio Valley Conference. Awesome to see the Oklahoma transfer secure some hardware. Then we have from Samford, we have Stephon Childs. And then EKU sweeps the rest of the second team all conference. We have Sam Rigel, a forward averaging 10 points a game, Josh Marshall, a double-double, and Aaron Dooley, also on EKU. So unfortunately, we couldn't see Blaine Fry end his career on one of these all-conference teams, but at the same token, it was very stiff competition to crack his way on one of these all-conference lists. And Blaine Fry was our third, sometimes fourth option in scoring, so it was hard for him to have the volume to make his way on an all-conference list. So moving on, we now take a look at freshman all-conference where we see Brian Gill. Okay, he makes his way on here surprisingly. He had a very strong second half to his freshman year. We have Jonah Hubbard on Jacksonville State, who led all freshmen in scoring, Edo Pettis on Southeast Missouri State, Edwin O'Leary, and Kaya Brodno, two forwards who will definitely be running this conference as Coach Carter hangs it up. Murray State should have a couple good years with these two guys coming up together. So as Coach Carter moves on, we also see 4 UT Martin Skyhawks move on as well between Jacques Diggs, Blaine Fry, Dominique Cleveland, and Chauncey Cantrell. It's really the end of an era as our first ever recruit to commit, Dominique Cleveland, hangs it up at the same time that Coach Carter does as well. And who knows, with Darnay Betancourt, Jacques Diggs, and the rest of these awesome players we've coached throughout this entire series, I know I've seen some comments of, can we get a mini series on Betancourt or Diggs or something? It's not out of the question. It's something I would love to do moving forward, and maybe I could do a one season My Player mode for Darnay or Jacques Diggs. That's definitely in the realm of possibility as we take a look at Ken Carter's final resume at UT Martin with an overall record of 125-60. He spent 6 seasons here, 13-16, 17-12, 24-9, 22-8, 26-6, and 23-9 to end his tenure at UT Martin. So honestly, it's just the end of an era. Had a great time during this series, but it's time to move on. So obviously it's always a great time when we watch the national championship. It's kind of a yearly tradition on this series. So I wanted to have this as its own video in the recap of season 6 so you guys don't miss any info or stats or nothing like that. I just wanted to have it its own video, so tomorrow's video will be the 3 teams that you guys will vote on. And I'll have them ranked 1 through 3. The team I like the best, team I like the second best, team I like the third best. But don't let that sway your opinion. Take your time and really watch that video and see what players, what jerseys, you like the best, what team could really present us with the most compelling storyline. So I'm really excited to see you guys vote on that tomorrow night. It's when the video is going to go up, I promise. So stay tuned for that. I've been dying to see you guys vote. I've been dying to start a new legacy mode. So super excited. Stay tuned for that video tomorrow night. Can't wait to see you guys vote. Peace, guys. Thanks for stopping by.